Prove young black male can accomplish anything.
I think being humble is sexy. I know you're rich. I know you got $40 billion, but can you just keep it to one house?
I could be fun, but dangerous.
Prosecutors say Dwayne Davis will be charged with murder, even though they don't believe he pulled the trigger. He's said to be the last living witness to the rapper's fatal 1996 drive-by shooting.
What do you think about all this attention?
It's funny. They didn't know me a little while ago.
I am the classic case of a Gemini, you know what I mean? It means that I'm quiet, I could be calm, quiet, and boring.
One of the great unsolved murders of the last 30 years, the killing of the rapper Tupac Shakur.
I wanted to be a gangster. I'm a thug, but I'm a nice person. I'm a thug by survival. I have to be to survive, not because I want to be. I don't want to hurt nobody, you know what I'm saying? I want to survive. I want to make money. I want to be in business. I want to do it. But what's honest about the world is that no one's going to let me do that.
His killer was never caught until possibly now. A short time ago, police held a press conference in which they finally revealed who they think did it and how, as well as why it took so long to arrest him.
Every generation discovers its own prophets and heroes. One political poet with tattoos, whose music and voice touched many people around the world, was silenced in 1996. He is portrayed in the media as a gangster, and his purported crimes are given more and more of the public's attention than his music. He discussed issues such as injustice, equality, and the harsh facts of life, all of which are products of the times, or a person who had an impact. Tupac Shakur is the most successful hip-hop artist in the world. He's the ultimate gangster rapper in the eyes of his legions of admirers. However, he poses a threat to both the law and his rivals in the hip-hop community. Many times over his career, Tupac said, "I'm going to die, I'm going to go out as a thug, and the prediction will come true very soon." Let's begin this twisted case. Around 11:30 p.m. on September 6, 1996, Tupac Shakur departed Lacey Studios in downtown Los Angeles, where he had just wrapped up filming his most recent music video, I Ain't Mad at Ya. Tupac is enjoying a wave of success that other musicians can only envy after earning 6 top 10 singles in the last 6 years. However, that journey will abruptly and brutally stop in the next 24 hours. Tupac arrived at his mansion in the Calabasas neighborhood of Los Angeles. Exhausted from a video shoot, he snuck in a few hours of sleep. In the morning, his cousin, Jamala Lisan, reminds him that they have to leave to their trip to Las Vegas, because their birthdays were in the same month, so they wanted to celebrate out there. In addition, Tupac was traveling to Vegas to attend a boxing match as well, and subsequently give a performance at a club. He is accompanied by Kidada Jones, the daughter of renowned record producer Quincy Jones. They start driving shortly after, although Tupac isn't really excited about going. Tupac allegedly had family problems in Atlanta and wasn't too excited about the entire journey to Vegas. But Tupac agrees to the plan after being persuaded by his managers. It will be his last trip ever. Tupac Shakur's only intention 5 years previously, in 1991, was to succeed in the cutthroat world of hip-hop. He was well on his way with his first release, Tupacalypse Now. By rapping on the harsh realities of living on the streets, he immediately established a strong connection with his audience. His music advocated for the weak, the underprivileged, the forgotten, and those in society who lack a political voice.
I know how the music can heal people's soul. It can be the difference between life and death.
Shakur published an album called Thug Life in 1994 that succinctly outlined his beliefs. Even Tupac's stomach bore the words to his political creed. Fans were enamored by his confidence and stubborn refusal to compromise his message. Tupac's popularity spread far beyond the ghetto, attracting white kids from middle-class families in suburban areas who delighted in the danger he brought from the other side of the tracks. If Tupac was hoping for attention, he more than got it. Some in the hip-hop community envied him as he rose the ladder, though not necessarily for the proper reasons. Tupac Shakur was beginning to develop enemies. The glamorous streets of Vegas will soon be home to rap's fixation with conflict and bloodshed. Furthermore, its current king will be overthrown by someone. On September 7, 1996, at around 3 p.m., Tupac Shakur landed in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was going to perform at a club and watch a boxing match. He will never have the chance to perform it. He will be killed in cold blood in less than 9 hours. Tupac plays the casino tables to pass the time before the boxing match after leaving his fiancée and cousin at the hotel. Frank Alexander, his bodyguard, is by his side, and also at the table Tupac is joined by members of the Outlaw Immortals, his backup group. As usual, a swarm follows Tupac everywhere he goes, especially women. Tupac plays for huge bets in the casino as well as in real life since he is riding high in the charts and can afford to gamble. At approximately 6:15 p.m. after arriving in Las Vegas, nearly 4 hours earlier, indulging in some leisurely casino gambling and drinking with his entourage, Tupac Shakur will be fatally shot by a cold-blooded gunman in just 5 hours. Tupac leaves to attend the highly anticipated heavyweight title fight between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon. Since his arrival, Tupac has asked that his cousin Jamala and lover Kidada remain at the hotel because the celebration is exclusively for men. Having his girlfriend and his cousin secure in their hotel room when Tyson's fight is about to start, Tupac and his security Frank Alexander head out to the MGM Grand, but Tupac finds it difficult to get inside. But as they go through the crowd, the bodyguard must also worry about the famous rapper's enemies, who are just as dangerous as his adoring followers. His most recent song, Hit 'Em Up, which is a vicious critique of Biggie Smalls, a fellow rapper, has incited outrage in the hip-hop scene. It causes Frank Alexander serious concern. Alexander asks MGM security for further protection for Tupac. The continual threat of violence is nothing new to the man who has made a profession out of conflict. At about 8:35 p.m. at the MGM Grand, Mike Tyson, a personal buddy of Tupac Shakur, recently defeated Bruce Seldon in less than 2 minutes of a boxing fight. Backstage, Tupac is accompanied by Suge Knight, his manager and the owner of his record company Death Row. Frank Alexander, a member of Tupac's security detail, and numerous Death Row Records associates are also there. Everyone can see that Tupac Shakur is still fired up by the Mike Tyson fight. One of Death Row's members, Travon, claimed to have seen the man who allegedly robbed him of his chain a few weeks ago in the hotel lobby. The man is also a Southside Crips member, sworn rival of the Bloods, a major LA gang with which Death Row is allegedly associated. Tupac Shakur decides to run over to him and teach him a valuable lesson. Fired up by the boxing match, Suge Knight and the other Death Row entourage accompany Tupac in the feeding frenzy. Frank Alexander removes Tupac from the fight, but Tupac had been engaged in a different kind of conflict 2 years prior in New York City, a fight for his life. He was shot 5 times at close range by a group of unidentified black guys on November 30th, 1994, in the lobby of a recording studio in Times Square after being robbed of jewels valued at $40,000. Police dismissed it as a random robbery, but Tupac interpreted it as payback by one of his numerous rivals in the hip-hop industry. Tupac had turned into a moving target because of the tension he had caused in the hip-hop community by verbally attacking other rappers and offending both the police and community leaders with his violent music. As a rich and powerful black man, everybody was lining up to take a shot at Tupac. Tupac was shot 5 times, the most serious of which was a severed artery in his thigh. His reputation as a thug was beginning to catch up with him. Tupac was suffering the consequences of participating in and writing about the violent culture. Tupac Shakur checked himself out of the hospital less than 5 hours after his procedure, defying the doctor's recommendation since he had other issues to deal with. The rapper was scheduled to appear in court to answer allegations of assault made by a 19-year-old woman, which he strongly denied. Sodomy and firearms charges all at once. Instead, Tupac was found guilty of criminal sex abuse after he was accused of aggressively caressing the woman's buttocks. He received the maximum penalty of 4.5 years in prison. Tupac Shakur's legions of supporters believed that the law was using him as a scapegoat. Tupac appeared to undergo a stunning metamorphosis while incarcerated at the Clinton Correctional Facility in upstate New York. Tupac appeared to undergo a stunning metamorphosis while incarcerated at the facility. The legendary gangster rapper publicly criticized thug life during this time. People thought he was merely denouncing it to get out of jail. Suge Knight promised to get Tupac out of bail in exchange for him joining Death Row and hiring him as his manager. The all-knowing godfather of hip-hop eventually made it happen. Tupac was now a part of Death Row and placed at the Posh Peninsula Hotel in Los Angeles to rest, refuel, and get back on his feet. The great agitator had gained his freedom and was anxious to return to his area of expertise, holding up a mirror to society's flaws. but that mirror will soon be shattered forever in a storm of gunfire. 9 p.m. on September 7, 1996. After assaulting an alleged member of the Crips gang in the MGM Grand Hotel lobby in Las Vegas, Nevada, Tupac and his entourage return to their rooms to change before going to Club 662, where Tupac is due to perform. As he puts on his clothes, Tupac chooses against wearing his bulletproof vest, a piece of clothing that would be appropriate for a man with so many enemies. Tupac and the others make their way across the strip to a home owned by Suge Knight, while the others eagerly await. Suge and Tupac vanish for a little moment. In Suge Knight's mansion, almost everything is red, the official color of the Bloods affiliated criminal group in Peru, located in LA. Some believe that by working with a record company affiliated with the Bloods, Tupac was creating new rivalries, this time with the Southside Crips, who were the Bloods' arch rivals. After about half an hour with Tupac and the others ready to leave for Club 662, Tupac makes an unusual request to his bodyguard. He had Frank Alexander take the keys to the Lexus when he was trying to get into the backseat with Tupac and Sue, because they were going to be drinking, and he was going to be the designated driver on the way back. Suge Knight, who wants to speak privately with a star rapper before the procession, heads back to the Las Vegas Strip for the event at Club 662, suggested making the arrangement, a performance he'll never get to perform. Tupac appeared unstoppable less than a year prior. He had survived the point-blank shooting in New York and served time in a maximum security prison and had become more well-known than ever. He rose to fame with his debut album All Eyes on Me, even though the album achieved platinum status within 3 weeks. Tupac made the decision not to extend his deal with Death Row Records. Privately, Tupac was concerned that Death Row was not providing him with a fair portion of the money he was bringing in. Death Row was not Tupac's only issue, though. Additionally, he was engaged in combat with Biggie Smalls, a longtime rival rapper from New York who he had frequently criticized in his lyrics. Their feud fueled rumors of a war between East Coast and West Coast rappers. For the past 6 years, Tupac had engaged in conflict with law enforcement, the courts, other rappers, and now dangerous gangs. It was getting harder and harder to distinguish his friends from his enemies. And now as Tupac rides to Club 662 with Suge Knight, he has no idea that one of those enemies are about to strike back. As Tupac's bodyguard follows in the car behind, the convoy inches forward, and as usual, Tupac draws the attention of his fans. Then suddenly out of nowhere, a white Cadillac. As it got closer to the BMW that Tupac was in, an arm came out and the gun just started firing. 4 gunshots that are fired at the BMW rip into Tupac's body. One more grazes Suge Knight in the head. The bullet-riddled BMW performs a sharp U-turn and speeds away in the other direction. The severely damaged BMW quickly blows its tires and breaks down nearby, and Tupac Shakur is facing death for the second time in his brief existence. September 7, 1996, Las Vegas, at 11:17 p.m. A hail of bullets cut down superstar rapper Tupac Shakur.
Opened fire on Shakur and Knight.
Tupac Shakur was shot several times in the chest. The driver, his record producer, was grazed in the head.
He's returned to the intensive care unit tonight after another surgery, still listed in critical condition.
He is transported to University Medical Center, where he has 2 emergency operations after being critically injured with a pierced lung.
All week long, fans of Tupac have gathered here outside the hospital.
He's undergone 2 operations.
To stop the internal bleeding, his right lung is removed, and he is put into a coma that he will never get out of.
Jesse Jackson's been here. Family continues to keep vigil, and despite early reports that his wounds were not life-threatening, people at the hospital here continue to tell us that he is in very serious condition.
For 6 days, Tupac remains in a coma. In an effort to delay the inevitable, his family has gathered for a constant vigil. But on September 13, 1996, Tupac Shakur's brief but brutal life ended suddenly at the age of 25.
I'm like a kid in a candy store. All of this is new. I'm 25, you know what I mean? And it's like, got cash, everything you dreamed of, and they...
Many people feel adrift in the wake of his passing. When witnesses refused to help, the criminal inquiry into Tupac's death became a stone wall, and hypotheses about who fired the shot are common. Some claim that the beating in the MGM lobby was a Crips revenge strike, while others blame Biggie Smalls, a longtime nemesis of Tupac who would also be shot dead 7 months later. Others continue to refer to Sue Knight's alleged setup after learning that Tupac intended to depart Death Row Records. Whatever the truth is, Tupac's killing has sparked swift and fierce revenge on the streets of Los Angeles. Whatever the truth, 12 shootings between rival gangs break out during a 10-day span in the streets of Los Angeles as retaliation for Tupac's death comes fast and furious. 22 people are detained and 3 are killed. Tupac gains even greater popularity after his passing. He goes on to sell more than 75 million records worldwide, making him the most successful rap artist of all time, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. In 1997, the Tupac Amaru Shakur Foundation is created to provide training and support for creative students. That same year, the University of California, Berkeley offers a course entitled The Poetry and History of Tupac Shakur. There are many theories about who killed Tupac, and Keith D is still thought to be the suspected murderer. If you ask me, I believe the entire situation around Keith D is an attempt to divert attention away from the actual global issues at hand. What do you guys think? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below.